RHONJ, Teresa Giudice rings in 2025 as Atrocious bride. RHONJ star, Teresa Giudice rang in 2025 as an atrocious bride. The mother of foreign podcaster made a splash in the ensemble she chose to ring in the new year. Unfortunately, it did not land the way that she had hoped it would, and fans were calling her and her stylist out. Keep reading for more on what they had to say. Teresa Giudice rings in 2025 as Atrocious bride. When Teresa Giudice got married to Luis Ruelas in August 2022, there was a lot of chatter. It was not just who she was marrying, a man giving off a bunch of red flags, but her look was interesting. From head to toe, Teresa was over the top with her bridal style. Her hair cost $10,000, with $7,000 worth of extensions. She also needed over 1,500 bobby pins to keep the look in place. After, she was mocked by celebs and talk show hosts for her wedding style. It was used as a Halloween costume by many that year, but Teresa did her best to take it in stride. That was likely her most absurd look since. Yet she stood by it and made no apologies for feeling like a princess on her big day. It had been tainted in some ways by tension between herself and her brother and sister-in-law, Joe and Melissa Gorga. They had been struggling for some time, and right before the wedding, they opted not to attend. Now Teresa is breaking out the bridal chic once again, this time to ring in 2025. She showed off her white party dress, which came from a bridal boutique. It was one of their wedding dresses, which she wore as a regular celebratory ensemble. However, her fans and followers saw it on Instagram and immediately had words for Teresa Giudice. What an atrocious outfit! Whoever picks out her clothes needs to be fired. Does she really think that's a fantastic look? She looked very confident as she prepared to step out so clearly. She did think she looked incredible. Did she own a mirror? Some RHONJ fans wondered if Teresa Giudice owned a mirror. More so, they wanted to know if she actually used it when she got dressed or before she left the house. Don't you have a mirror at your place? This looks like my 7-year-old confirmation dress. Her low intelligence showed when she dressed in this. Others called her tacky, but Teresa will usually use her podcast to clap back when she feels offended. As of now, it is unclear if she and her family will be welcomed back to RHONJ for season 15. No decisions have been made, and Andy Cohen reiterated that. The New Year's Eve sky glittered with fireworks over the Jersey Shore as Teresa Giudice stood at the center of attention in a bridal gown that could only be described as atrocious by her critics. The gown, with its over-the-top design and unapologetically bold embellishments, seemed to embody Teresa herself, unfiltered, extravagant, and undeniably unforgettable. But as the clock struck midnight and 2025 began, it wasn't just the gown that had tongues wagging. It was everything about the event, a spectacle befitting the queen of RHONJ. The gown heard round the shore. Teresa's dress, designed by an up-and-coming couture house, was a whirlwind of excess. Layers of frothy tulle cascaded like a waterfall, barely contained by a fitted bodice, encrusted with crystals that refracted the light in dizzying patterns. The neckline plunged dramatically, while a tiara, larger than most centerpieces, sat atop her immaculately coiffed hair. Adding to the drama, a train stretched 10 feet behind her, embroidered with phrases like "Love conquers all" and "Namaste," along with an inexplicable rendering of a pineapple. "It's a masterpiece," Teresa declared confidently to the camera during a pre-wedding confessional. "It's a reflection of who I am, strong, fabulous, and a little bit extra. And if anyone has a problem with it, they can keep their opinions in their own lane." But the internet had no intention of staying in its lane. Within minutes of Teresa's grand entrance, social media exploded. Did Teresa Giudice raid Liberace's closet? One tweet read, "She's giving off Runaway Vegas showgirl vibes," snarked another. Even Teresa's castmates weighed in. Margaret Joseph, ever the sharp-toned commentator, remarked in her Instagram stories, "I'm just saying, if your dress has more sparkles than the ball in Times Square, maybe scale it back a little." Louis' starring role. Teresa's husband, Louis Roulis, played the part of the devoted groom with gusto. Dressed in an all-white tuxedo that matched the bridal party's monochromatic theme, he spent the evening gazing adoringly at Teresa. "Louis all about supporting me," Teresa said during the event. "He understands my vision, and he's my partner in everything. Plus, he loves the dress." While Louis' unwavering loyalty was on full display, skeptics, including some of Teresa's own family members, weren't so sure. Joe Gorga, Teresa's brother, whispered to his wife Melissa at one point, "He's either the most patient man on earth, or he's just as crazy as she is." A guest list to remember, or not. The wedding's guest list read like a who's who of Bravo's finest. Ramona Singer's RSVP famously leaked weeks prior, revealing not only the date and location, but also the staggering cost per plate. "Leave it to Ramona to cause drama before she even gets here," Teresa quipped. Dolores Catania arrived with her new beau, whose identity she kept under wraps until this event, sending the rumor mill into overdrive. Jennifer Aydin, in true form, turned up in a dress almost as dramatic as Teresa's, while Danielle Cabral's attempt to outshine everyone fell flat when her feathered ensemble shed across the dance floor. Even Jacqueline Larita made a surprise appearance, sparking speculation of a thaw in her frosty relationship with Teresa. "It's a new year, a new start," Jacqueline said enigmatically when asked about the reunion. The drama unfolds. No RHONJ event is complete without fireworks, and this wedding was no exception. The seating arrangements alone caused chaos, with Teresa strategically placing Margaret and Melissa at opposite ends of the venue. Despite the careful planning, tensions boiled over during the first course when Margaret made a cutting remark about the wedding's theme. "A Jersey fairy tale." "More like a Jersey nightmare," she muttered loudly enough for Melissa to hear. Melissa, for her part, stayed uncharacteristically quiet, though her icy glare spoke volumes. When asked by producers why she hadn't confronted Margaret, Melissa shrugged. "I'm over it. Let Teresa have her day. But don't think for a second I'm letting any of this slide." The real fireworks came during the bouquet toss. Teresa, in a dramatic twist, decided to dedicate the toss to her daughters. Gia, Gabriella, Melania, and Adriana gathered on stage as Teresa handed each of them a bouquet, declaring, "My girls are my everything, and this is for their future happiness." The heartfelt moment was overshadowed when Danielle Cabral tripped over the train of Teresa's gown and fell into the wedding cake. Silence fell over the room before Jennifer Aydin's laughter broke the tension. "Well, that's one way to make an entrance, or an exit," she quipped. The aftermath. By the time the last song played and the guests began to trickle out, Teresa's wedding had cemented itself as one of the most talked about events in Housewives history. Fans took to Reddit to dissect every detail, from the controversial gown to the guest list to the inevitable drama. Even Andy Cohen weighed in during a live Instagram Q&A. "It was exactly what you'd expect from Teresa," he said with a grin. "Big, bold, and a little bit messy. And honestly, would we want it any other way?" For Teresa, the night was everything she dreamed of and more. As she and Louis headed off for their honeymoon in an exotic location yet to be disclosed, she left her critics with one final message, delivered via Instagram stories. To everyone who loved my wedding, thank you. And to everyone who didn't, namaste and stay tuned for the next chapter of my fabulous life. As 2025 dawned, one thing was clear. Teresa Giudice's reign as the Queen of Jersey drama was far from over.